Hello and welcome to TechDredge, my little corner of the internet where I'll be bringing you reviews of all sorts of computer hardware. Now, I had originally filmed a review of Noctua's A14 fans and their U14S cooler, but unfortunately the audio was just unbearable. So I'm giving it another crack, and today I have with me a Noctua's low-profile CPU cooler, the L9. Let's check it out. The first time I ever held the box of a Noctua fan, I was instantly converted to near fanboyism, long before I'd even opened the product. And this excellent packaging carries over into their CPU coolers, even a lower budget model like this, with good thick cardboard, a full color box complete with specifications, diagrams, a multilingual description on the back, and this awesome little silver circle here, which is actually printed onto the box, and that reads only 37mm in height, including fan, which segues into what this product is about. The Noctua L9 is a low-profile CPU cooler designed for small systems where space is a major factor. So it's a good fit in super slim cases or home theater PCs, that sort of thing. Now, unlike on their larger heat sinks where they include mounting hardware for both AMD and Intel sockets, Noctua actually make two different L9 coolers. There is the L9i, which is what I have with me today, for the Intel 1150 socket, and the L9A for AMD sockets. Opening up the box, you get to see this beautiful shrine to the heatsink contained within. The attention to detail in the packaging continues in here with a full color backing that houses the excellent full color manual as well as a letter from the CEO congratulating you on your purchase. In the bottom of the box, however, is all of the good stuff. The cooler is smack bang in the middle, and right above it is an absolutely gorgeous metal case badge. These are probably my favorite case badges on the market today. To the right you have a tube of Noctua's NTH1 thermal compound, which is good stuff, though I'm not really in a position to test it against others at this point of time, but I do like its ease of application. On the right you have a low noise adapter, which slows the fan down from 2500 RPM to 1800 RPM, and 4 mounting screws here. All of these accessories are mounted into soft foam, which looks fantastic, though I'd have doubts about its eco-friendliness. Noctua commands a bit of a price premium for their products, but they make up for that in the excellent packaging, accessories, and general ease of installation, as well as excellent performance, of course. Once you remove the foam, you can get access to the cooler itself, which looks very... Oh, and you also have these long screws here, for if you want to mount a thicker fan to the heatsink, though that kind of defeats the purpose in my mind, but hey, every usage case is unique. Okay, so... the design of the cooler, it's deceptively simple. It's a fan on a block of aluminum basically, but if you look closer you can see traces of the sheer amount of engineering that goes into something like this. On the fan itself you have these little steps here. I'm not sure exactly how these work, but they help the fan to suck in more air. And on the inner frame of the fan there are these tiny teardrop shaped dents which are barely noticeable, and what they do is decrease turbulence as air exits the fan. On the blades themselves, you have these swooping patterns which are used to guide air over the blade and get it going exactly where it needs to, as efficiently as possible. All of these little technologies add up to make the fan quiet and move a lot of air at the same time. This particular fan is an A9x14, so it's 90mm across and 14mm thick. The heatsink is just really a lot of aluminum fins to look at, impeccably constructed of course. There is a slight cutout on one side, which I'm not really sure what it's for, but it's probably so that the cooler clears all of the little capacitors and things around your CPU socket. Not many people are a fan of Noctua's color scheme. I can take it or leave it myself, but one thing anyone can tell by looking at a Noctua fan is the build quality. People who always see my rig behind me there always comment on the fans as opposed to my GPU or my RAM or my really bitchin' card reader. The L9 itself though, I think it's overall, I don't want to overuse the word cute, but it looks really cute. I think it's one of the best looking low profile CPU coolers out there. So installation is a snap. Simply align the holes over the socket, flip the motherboard around, hold it tight and screw it from behind. The L9 fits neatly into the CPU socket zone, so it won't overhang anything, which guarantees compatibility with any RAM at any close PCIe slots. In noise tests at 2500 RPM, the L9 was marginally quieter than the Intel stock cooler, but the type of noise was more pleasant. At 1800 RPM, with the low noise adapter on, it was significantly quieter, though not as quiet as Noctua's larger fans, but I guess that's a given with the smaller fan at a higher RPM. Still hugely better than the Intel cooler though. I can't really test thermal performance at the moment, though I will say this. The Noctua L9i is recommended for CPUs which have a heat output of 65 watts TDP. So that's lower end CPUs, it's up to i3s I think. You can go for hotter CPUs if your case is well ventilated, and you can check out the exact TDP guidelines over at Noctua's site, and I'll put the link in the video description as well. I run this on an 84 watt TDP i5 and it worked fine at medium loads in a well ventilated case, but if you are trying to build a supercomputer in a tiny case, this is probably not the cooler you should be using. If that is the case, I'd probably recommend using an all-in-one liquid cooling solution instead. I would recommend the L9 for less demanding PCs, such as general home theater builds, lower end gaming machines, where there isn't a need for an overly powerful CPU, or even use it as a replacement for just the Intel stock cooler in general purpose builds. This one will probably go into my NAS or the office computer upstairs, where there are cables running awfully close to the CPU cooler, and so I might want to bring the height down on that a bit. After all that, it's still a very decent performing CPU cooler, and it's one of the best in its class. According to Frosty Tech's findings, it is the second best performing CPU cooler below 45mm, and is the only one in the top 4 that is less than 40mm high. And it's considerably quieter than the cooler that placed above it. So if that's not a recommendation, I don't know what is. Conclusion time. The Noctua L9 continues Noctua's tradition of excellent packaging, accessories, ease of installation, and class-leading performance, engineering, and build quality that more than justify the slight price premium. And in my probably unique opinion, it's probably one of the best looking too. So thank you for watching TechDredge. Hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to seeing you again. Have a good one.